A man leaves his Ray-Ban AI glasses on a table in his bedroom. He walks out. The glasses keep recording. His wife undresses. Somewhere in Kenya, a contractor watches the footage, categorizes it, and moves on to the next clip. That is not a hypothetical. That is one of the specific incidents described by workers contracted by Meta to train its AI systems, published by 2 Swedish newspapers in February of this year. 2 months later, Meta terminated its contract with those workers. All 1,108 of them. 6 days notice. This is the story of what Meta's Ray-Ban glasses are actually doing with your footage, who sees it, what they're required to watch, and what happened to the people who told the truth about it. First, some context that Meta would rather you didn't think too hard about. When you use a pair of Ray-Ban AI glasses, or any consumer AI product for that matter, the AI doesn't just train itself on the footage you capture. Before a model can understand what it's seeing, a human being has to watch that footage and describe it. This is called data annotation, and it is the invisible layer beneath every AI product in existence. The people who do this work are usually in low-income countries, Kenya, Uganda, India, the Philippines, employed by third-party contractors, paid significantly less than what the same work would cost in the markets where the products are sold, and bound by non-disclosure agreements that can end their employment if they speak publicly about what they see. Meta contracted a Nairobi-based company called Sama to do this work for its Ray-Ban glasses. Sama's stated mission, since it was founded in 2008, has been to provide dignified digital work to people in low-income communities. It has also previously provided data annotation services to Google, Microsoft, and Meta across multiple contracts. The workers at Sama were tasked with labeling video and image footage captured by Ray-Ban glasses users to help Meta's AI understand what the cameras were looking at. What they actually saw was something else entirely. The Swedish investigation, published jointly by Svenska Dagbladet and Göteborgs-Posten in late February, described the footage in detail. Workers reported watching people having sex, people using the toilet, people undressing, financial information, bank details, passwords visible on screens, entire private scenes that the glasses had recorded while users apparently had no idea the recording was active. The Ray-Ban glasses do have a small light that indicates when they're recording, but workers reported that users in many of the clips appeared to have no awareness that their glasses had captured the footage. Some users had disabled the indicator light. Others simply hadn't noticed it was on. One worker told the newspapers directly, "You understand that it is someone's private life you are looking at, but at the same time, you are just expected to carry out the work. You are not supposed to question it. If you start asking questions, you are gone." That turned out to be accurate. The footage was not anonymized before workers reviewed it. They could see faces, they could see bodies, they could read personal documents on screen. They had no mechanism to refuse a clip, no way to flag footage they suspected had been captured without consent, and no route to contact the people being filmed. Meta's initial response was to pause its work with Sama, while it, in its words, looked into the claims. It told journalists that it took the workers' allegations seriously, and that photos and videos are private to users. It also noted that it gets clear user consent for human review of footage used in AI training. That consent claim is technically accurate. It's buried in Meta's privacy policy for the glasses. What the policy does not dwell on is the human layer between the camera and the algorithm. It does not describe what annotation work looks like in practice. It does not mention that a contractor in Kenya will watch the footage. It does not address what happens when a user leaves their glasses on a table and walks away. 2 months after the story broke, Meta announced it was terminating its contract with Sama entirely. Its stated reason: Sama had failed to meet Meta's standards. Sama pushed back directly. The company said it had consistently met every operational, security, and quality standard required across all of its client engagements, and that at no point had Meta notified it of any failure to meet those standards. Naftali Wambalo of the Africa Tech Workers Movement spoke to the BBC about what he believed had actually happened. His assessment: "What I think are the standards they are talking about here are standards of secrecy." 1,108 workers, 6 days notice. These are the people at the end of this story, and they are worth holding in frame for a moment. Sama employed workers across Kenya, Uganda, and India. The workers who spoke to the Swedish newspapers did so at significant personal risk. The non-disclosure agreements they operated under were explicit about the consequences of speaking publicly. They spoke anyway. The Africa Tech Workers Movement has alleged that the contract termination was direct retaliation for those workers going public, a claim Meta has not addressed. Sama, for its part, said its focus is on supporting employees during the transition. This is also not the first time Sama has been at the center of a major tech industry scandal. In 2022, OpenAI terminated its contract with Sama after workers tasked with classifying child sexual abuse material for AI training reported severe psychological trauma and inadequate mental health support. The pattern, as one report put it, suggests broader issues with how tech giants outsource their darkest AI training tasks to vulnerable global workforces. The response from regulators and lawyers has been unusually swift. The UK Information Commissioner's Office contacted Meta directly in March, describing the Swedish reports as concerning and requesting information about how footage from the glasses is processed, stored, and reviewed. The ICO has enforcement powers under UK GDPR. This is not a courtesy inquiry. Kenya's Office of the Data Protection Commissioner launched its own investigation into whether the glasses' data collection practices comply with Kenyan data protection law. Given that the annotation workforce was based in Kenya and that the footage involved people from multiple countries, the jurisdictional picture is complex. In the United States, a class action lawsuit was filed in California's Northern District Court against both Meta and EssilorLuxottica, Ray-Ban's parent company. The plaintiffs allege false advertising, specifically that Meta marketed the glasses as, and this is from the complaint, designed for privacy, controlled by you, while routing user footage through a human review pipeline in countries with weaker data protection enforcement than the markets where the glasses are sold. The Electronic Frontier Foundation also issued an advisory. The pressure is coming from multiple directions at once. The Ray-Ban glasses are not the only wearable AI camera on the market, they are the most commercially successful one. And as smart glasses become more capable and more common, the question this story surfaces, who sees the footage these devices collect, and on what terms, becomes more urgent, not less. Meta has said it will continue improving its privacy practices. What that means in practice, whether it involves changes to the annotation pipeline, stronger user disclosure, or just quieter outsourcing, it hasn't said. The workers in Kenya have no certainty about what comes next. The people whose most private moments pass through those annotation queues don't know their footage was reviewed by a person. And the glasses are still on sale. Links to the original Swedish investigation, the BBC report on the contract termination, and the class action lawsuit details are all in the description. If you want clear factual coverage of the stories that matter in AI and tech, without the hype, subscribe. New videos every week. Thanks for watching.